Kwankwaso, an overrated, inept clown devoid of leadership. When an independent political analyst examines the majority of Nigerian politicians, he or she cannot help but agree with the famous German playwright Bertolt Brecht's statement that the worst kind of illiterate is the political illiterate, because the political illiterate hears nothing, sees nothing, and tries to make himself useless in whatever political sphere that he finds himself in. Most Nigerian politicians give the impression that they are masters of the game of politics, despite the fact that their moves, status quos, and modus operandi suggest pure incompetence and a mediocre, clownish method of playing politics. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, the former governor of Kano State and the main 2023 presidential candidate for the New Nigeria's People Party, is a good example of one of these politicians who can be classified under this. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso's alleged experience in Nigerian politics, which includes 2 terms as governor of Kano State, 1 term as a senator, and other minor positions with other political parties in Nigeria, does not qualify him as a political expert. In contrast, it is beyond anyone's imagining how a person with this level of engagement in government could be so clownish with a great deal of buffoonery when it comes to dispensing ordinary political knowledge and acting appropriately. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso is a very controversial Nigerian politician, and his arrogant nature is a one-too-many formula that always gets him in trouble, as was recently demonstrated in his recent display of tribalism and nepotistic politics, in which he disparaged the Igbos and their political approach. This move was a result of the recent opening of the Gombe State NNPP Secretariat, where Rabiu Kwankwaso was replying to inquiries from journalists on the previously publicized major talks between the NNPP and the former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi's Labour Party. Kwankwaso's reaction to one of the queries posed to him regarding the potential of being Peter Obi's vice presidential candidate was akin to that of a thoroughly clueless buffoon. To add insult to injury, he maintained that the Igbos, while strong at business, were bad at politics and needed to learn, most likely, from clown-like politicians like himself who have nothing to give. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso's self-perception as a top-tier politician is one of the greatest ironies that should be included in the prestigious Guinness Book of World Records. It is regrettable that his bloated ego prevented him from seeing himself for the caricature that he is. And it is even sadder that Nigeria is a corrupt nation that provides a safe haven for such stupid politicians to flaunt their clownish, humorous charades in the guise of playing politics. Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso and his ilk would have been debunked and exposed as the frauds that they are in senior crimes. In another of his roses earlier this year, he visited one of the leading media houses in Nigeria in an attempt to market himself and unveil his manifesto for the 2023 Nigerian presidential elections. But he succeeded in embarrassing his educated and more enlightened party members, supporters, and electorates. In his customary idiocy attitude, he had shared red and white caps with spectators and fans while singing Arewa support slogans. Then he proceeded to the interview proper when he successfully crushed his already tarnished reputation like a deck of cards. Kwankwaso sounded like a tout, an illiterate with an IQ no higher than that of an idiot. Despite his background as an engineer, acclaimed PhD holder, a former minister, governor, and senator who is meant to be qualified educationally and politically for the number one job in the country. He stated that Nigerians have made it very apparent that they are uneasy with the events in the southeastern portion of the country and hence would not vote for a candidate from that region. Either Kwankwaso was too cowardly to accept that his own definition of Nigerians consisted of northerners from the northern region, or he was too foolish to admit that the northern region is more insecure than the southeastern region, thereby shooting himself in the foot with his statement. Worse still is the fact that these southeastern individuals against whom he was campaigning have been voting for northern candidates without any form of bias since time immemorial, which is why politicians like Kwankwaso, who claim to know their way around, are actually convoluted scarecrows and paperweights looking for every minor opportunity to feast on any gullible mind that would pledge allegiance to them. It would have been better for Rabiu Kwankwaso to have withdrawn from his clownish and idiotic approach to politics while the ovation was higher, but instead, he continues to make a fool of himself in the name of being one of the country's powers that be.